There comes a moment in the life of every chosen one, a moment that shakes your soul and tests the very foundation of your faith. It may look like rejection, feel like abandonment, or sound like silence. But in the unseen realm, something sacred is unfolding. You watch others being promoted, applauded, celebrated, and you're left in the shadows. You whisper in confusion, "Did I miss it? Did I do something wrong?" But what feels like a closed door is often the sound of heaven's hand moving in silence. This is not your punishment. It is your awakening. Heaven is moving, and not everyone is being invited into the room. Some are being left out, not because they are unworthy, but because what they carry is too holy. Their oil, your oil. So if your name wasn't called, pause. Breathe. You're not being excluded. You're being elevated. Before beginning the video, let's subscribe, like this video, and stay with me until the end of this message, and you will understand why you were led here. This is your moment. In Matthew 25, Jesus speaks a parable that reveals a piercing spiritual reality. 10 virgins were invited to meet the bridegroom. All held lamps, all waited with anticipation. But only 5 came with extra oil. The others assumed the moment would unfold on their terms, without the need for deeper preparation. As delay lingered and midnight approached, the unprepared ran out of oil. In a frenzy, they left to purchase what they should have carried from the beginning. And while they were gone, the bridegroom came. The door opened. The wise entered. And then, without apology, the door was shut. The foolish returned to find the entrance sealed. They weren't excluded because they weren't invited. They were excluded because they weren't ready. A moment's delay in preparation cost them everything. This story isn't merely about being late. It's about being spiritually out of rhythm with divine timing. Heaven doesn't respond to volume. It responds to alignment. It honors those who live watchful, who carry oil in quietness, who are ready even when nothing seems to be happening. In the end, it's not enough to be near the door. You must be prepared to walk through it. But here lies a mystery that many overlook. Not every closed door means you weren't prepared. Sometimes, it means you were too prepared for what was inside. There are rooms that cannot hold the weight of what you carry. There are places, people, and platforms that would mishandle your oil, not because they're malicious, but because they're immature. And in His mercy, God shuts the door, not to reject you, but to preserve you. You see, oil is sacred. It's born through crushing seasons, through silence and surrender, through prayers nobody heard and tears nobody saw. It cannot be shared lightly. It cannot be spilled where it won't be valued. And so God, in His divine wisdom, sometimes blocks access, not because you're lacking, but because your oil is too costly to be wasted in spaces that treat it like convenience. You weren't left out because you were less. You were held back because you carry more. God isn't just protecting rooms from your presence. He's protecting you from being diminished by rooms that don't know how to handle what heaven has deposited in you. So if a door closes, don't always ask, "What's wrong with me?" Sometimes the better question is, what is God protecting in me? Let's revisit the story of David, a boy forgotten by his father, overlooked by his brothers, and left out of the room when the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king. No one saw him as worthy. And yet, when all the others stood tall and regal before the prophet, the oil refused to flow. It wasn't until David, dirty, humble, and uninvited, walked into the room that the oil responded. Not to his appearance, not to his reputation, but to his calling. Because when you are truly chosen, you don't have to force doors open. The oil will find you. The assignment will locate you. You are not disqualified. You are distinguished. The oil knows who you are. It knows what you've survived. It knows what you carry. And it knows exactly when and where to flow. So, don't be discouraged by closed doors or quiet seasons. Don't despise the delay. If the oil is on your life, the door that matters will open, and it will open for you. There is a sacredness and hiddenness that the world often overlooks. In a culture that celebrates visibility, promotion, being unseen can feel like failure. But in the kingdom of God, hiddenness is not punishment. It is preparation. Consider Moses. Before he ever stood before Pharaoh, before signs and wonders, before the parting of seas and the liberation of a nation, he was hidden in the wilderness. For 40 years he walked in silence, in obscurity, in solitude. Not because he had sinned, but because he was being shaped. Obedience was being forged. Humility was being refined. The palace had given Moses privilege, but it was the desert that gave him power. God develops warriors in secret, not on stages but in stillness. He removes the applause so you can hear his voice. So if this is your season of hiddenness, do not despair. You are not behind. You are being built. God isn't showing you off because he's still shaping you. It's not your time to perform. It's your time to become. Elevation in the kingdom never comes without first being reduced. Consider Gideon. He started with 32,000 soldiers. God said, "Too many." Then 10,000, still too many, until he was left with 300. Why? Because the victory that was coming couldn't be credited to the crowd. It had to be attributed to God's hand alone. Heaven's math doesn't follow earthly logic. More people, more followers, more support. These things may look like strength to man, but to God, they can become distractions. So he trims the excess relationships, positions, and platforms, not to harm you, but to hone you. Disqualification, from heaven's view, is often refinement. When God reduces your circle, he increases your clarity. When he closes doors, he concentrates your purpose. You don't need more applause. You need more anointing. What God is preparing you for cannot be achieved through numbers. It can only come through purity. To be set apart is not rejection. It is divine distinction. In Leviticus, before a priest could enter the holy place, the realm of sacred presence, he had to be washed, cleansed, and consecrated. It was not optional. It was the cost of proximity to God. Likewise, God separates you not because you are unwanted, but because you are uncommon. You cannot walk where others walk. You cannot speak what everyone speaks. You are not allowed to dwell in every room because you are marked for something holy. Your separation is not isolation. It is identification. Heaven has marked you for glory, and the very thing that disqualified you from blending in is what qualifies you for divine breakthrough. You are not like the crowd because you were never meant to be. You are not being pushed away. You are being pulled deeper into intimacy, into fire, into purpose. So don't curse the separation. Honor it. Because the ones God uses publicly, he first consecrates privately. We often carry the ache of exclusion and silence, asking ourselves, why wasn't I chosen? But heaven invites us to flip the question. What if the room wasn't chosen for you? What if your presence, instead of being misplaced, was too spiritually weighty for the atmosphere? There are environments that cannot sustain the fire you carry. Your purity would have unsettled their comfort. Your consecration would have exposed their compromise. Your anointing would have demanded alignment they weren't ready to make. Sometimes God doesn't keep you out because you lack readiness. He keeps you out because they do. He shields your oil from places that would waste it, not honor it. You were never created to conform. You were called to confront, to disrupt the status quo with heaven's frequency. And sometimes, heaven closes a door not to delay you, but to protect the integrity of what you're carrying. Consider Joseph, betrayed by blood, sold into slavery, falsely accused, locked away, and forgotten. His journey looks like a downward spiral, but every rejection was a redirection. Every locked door was a ladder leading him closer to his purpose. In one divine moment, Joseph moved from prison to palace. Not by striving, not by proving himself, but by simply being ready when God said, "Now." Rejection wasn't the end. It was the exodus, a path out of limitation into leadership. And just like Joseph, your closed doors aren't exile. They are elevation in disguise. God isn't just separating you. He's sending you ahead to prepare a place others will one day enter. Sometimes God interrupts your plans not out of cruelty, but because His divine design is unfolding. He'll cancel what looked promising because it lacked the spiritual capacity for your next assignment. The room that shut you out? It was too small, too noisy. You needed stillness to hear fresh instructions. You didn't miss your moment. You were being moved into alignment, so don't mourn the room that didn't open. Rejoice. You're not being left behind. You're being positioned for something greater. You weren't disqualified because you failed. You were disqualified because your fire was too fierce for spaces built on compromise. Your presence shakes casual Christianity. Your purity exposes performance, and your hunger disrupts environments that have settled for comfort over consecration. Heaven doesn't promote based on charisma or platform. It promotes based on purity. Your consecration, the cost you've paid in secret, the prayers that no one saw, the altars you built in silence. That's your true qualification. And in Heaven's eyes, that fire qualifies you for what's coming next. Only those who've been refined by fire can withstand the weight of this next assignment. This isn't a place for spectators. It's for the chosen, the forged, the faithful. The fire you carry isn't for entertainment. It's for awakening. So don't weep over the doors that stayed shut. Rejoice. Because you weren't being denied. You were being reserved. What's ahead isn't ordinary. It requires fire, and yours is burning. Father of glory, fire of heaven, eternal flame. We come. We come not for performance, but for presence. Not for applause, but for alignment. We lift up every chosen one who thought they were left out. Open their eyes to see what was really happening. Show them that the closed door was your protection, not your punishment. Tear down every false label. Shatter every lie that whispered, "You're not enough." Let holy fire consume every ounce of shame and replace it with sacred identity. Father, mark them with clarity, brand them with courage, and baptize them with boldness. Let them rise in discernment. Let them walk in distinction. Let them rejoice in rejection, knowing it was a redirection into destiny. We declare, they were not disqualified from something small. They were qualified for something eternal. The oil they carry will not be wasted. The fire they hold will not be silenced. The calling they bear will not be buried. Because what they missed tonight is only a setup for what you're about to release next. In the name of Jesus, the one who qualifies the unqualified, opens what no man can shut, and shuts what no man can open. We declare it done. Amen. Amen. And amen. Thank you for joining us in this sacred moment of prayer. If these words resonated in your spirit, if you felt seen, known, or realigned, know this: it was not by accident that you found your way here. Heaven is speaking, and your heart responded. We bless you in the name of the one who called you, who knows you, and who is preparing a greater room just for you. Chosen one, can you feel it? There's a vibration in the silence, a soft pulse beneath the surface of your daily life. It doesn't shout, it whispers. Something holy is forming just beyond the veil of ordinary perception, and it's calling your name. This isn't just another motivational message. This is a sacred signal from realms unseen. Sunday is not just a day on the calendar. It is a portal, an invitation. What's coming may not be loud, but it will be undeniable. Before beginning the video, let's subscribe, like this video, and stay with me until the end of this message, and you will understand why you were led here. This is your moment. You weren't guided here by accident. Every pause in your life, every detour, every door that stayed shut longer than you hoped, was part of a cosmic choreography. God wasn't delaying your miracle. He was designing the moment. Your spirit has been sensing it. A restlessness, a divine tension, as if something ancient within you has been stretching, preparing for expansion. You may have felt discomfort, dreams becoming more vivid, a strange clarity growing in the silence. This is spiritual calibration. Heaven has been setting the stage not for a small blessing, but for a sequence of revelations, personal, powerful, permanent. And the first key unlocks this Sunday. The revelation may arrive as a casual word from a stranger, or a thought that gently lands while you're washing the dishes, a memory that resurfaces, a sudden peace that interrupts your anxiety, a divine reversal in a situation that felt stuck. It may look ordinary, but it will resonate with eternity. It will be wrapped in simplicity, yet saturated in purpose. And here's the wonder. If you're not spiritually alert, you might miss it. Not because God is hiding it, but because His voice often arrives in stillness. He doesn't force His way in. He waits for your awareness. This is why now is the time to pay attention, to slow down, to move through your weekend as if walking on sacred ground. Divine surprises don't always look like what we prayed for. Sometimes they come dressed as disruptions, as endings, as uncomfortable nudges or bold invitations. But their signature is peace, not ease, not predictability, but peace that transcends logic. A stillness in your chest that says, "This is it. Walk through." This Sunday won't just bring you a moment. It will awaken momentum. Connections will start forming. Ideas will begin flowing. People will show up with answers you didn't ask out loud. The first sign of transformation won't appear on the outside. It will awaken from within. You'll feel a shift, not in your surroundings, but in your perception. It will be a quiet resurrection of self, a rising clarity that replaces confusion, a calm knowing that takes the place of striving. What emerges won't be arrogance, but a confidence. You'll move with quiet purpose, speak with unwavering truth, not to impress, but because you are finally in alignment with your essence. This is not about receiving something new. It's about remembering something eternal. You will begin to embody the version of yourself you've glimpsed in moments of prayer and vision, the one who walks in grace, stands in authority, and no longer questions their divine worth. This isn't a step forward in the world. It's a return to who you've always been beneath the noise, a reunion with your true self. In the days leading up to Sunday, begin to treat your inner world as sacred space. Let your soul become a sanctuary, a quiet refuge where the divine can whisper clearly. Step away from the noise of comparison, the urgency of expectation, and the echo of fear. Instead, embrace stillness as your nourishment. Move through this weekend with reverence, as if walking on holy ground. Wake slowly, without rush. Notice the subtle stirrings in your spirit and journal them, no matter how faint. Take gentle walks, not to arrive somewhere, but to listen. Look closely at what feels insignificant, because hidden within the ordinary are seeds of the extraordinary. The divine rarely shouts. It glows softly. And when your spirit is quiet enough, you'll recognize the miracle hiding in the mundane. This Sunday is not a conclusion, it's a beginning. Not the final chapter, but the spark that sets a divine sequence into motion. As the shift unfolds, each moment of clarity will become a stepping stone. One insight will naturally lead to the next, and each act of quiet obedience will open doors crafted specifically for your soul's journey. Even what once felt like rejection will be revealed as redirection. making space for blessings that truly belong to you. And here is the quiet miracle. You won't need to chase what's coming. You won't have to force anything into place, because what's aligned with your spirit will begin to find its way to you effortlessly. This is no longer a season of striving. You've graduated from pursuit to presence, from chasing to attracting. Now, simply by standing in your truth, you become magnetic to what's meant for you. Every pause, every detour, every moment that felt like a setback was, in truth, a part of divine design. What you once called delay was actually protection, grace wrapped in mystery. If the blessing had come too soon, you might have doubted it. You may have clung to it from fear, misunderstood its weight, or lacked the depth to carry it well. But that version of you is gone. Now your roots are deeper. You've been refined in silence, strengthened in surrender, and expanded through endurance. Your discernment is clear, your heart is open, and your spirit is finally in alignment. You are no longer striving to catch up. You are standing in divine timing. You are ready. And what's meant for you is already on its way. Don't look for drama. Look for direction. What's coming won't announce itself with noise or spectacle, but with something far more sacred: clarity, calm, and an undeniable sense of inner knowing. It will whisper, not shout. And if your spirit is listening, you'll recognize it by the gentle confirmations it brings. Pay close attention to the subtle movements of your soul: a sudden urge to reach out to someone, an unexpected desire to bless another without reason, a simple conversation that echoes in your heart long after it ends, or an emotional release that feels like exhale after holding your breath. These aren't coincidences. They are spiritual signals, divine cues wrapped in simplicity, inviting you to notice the holy woven into the ordinary. Because when heaven speaks, it often does so in stillness. And if you're quiet enough, you'll feel the message written just for you. What's coming isn't just something you'll receive, it's something you'll become. This is not merely a shift in your circumstances, it's a shift in your identity. You're not just reaching a milestone in your journey, you're being transformed by it. You are stepping out of the role of the one who waited, who carried silent pain and hidden questions, and stepping fully into the identity of one who walks with purpose, clarity, and quiet confidence. This Sunday marks more than a moment. It signals the alignment of your inner growth with your outer life. You'll begin to notice that the world around you starts to reflect the changes that have already taken place within you. The old versions of yourself, the ones shaped by fear, by striving, by self-doubt, will fall away like autumn leaves. No longer performing to be seen, you'll begin to simply live as who you were always meant to be. And that changes everything. Not everyone will understand the shift taking place within you, and that's perfectly okay. This transformation wasn't meant for their recognition. What's unfolding now is not a performance. It's a private summit between your soul and the divine. You won't need to convince anyone of your growth, because your presence will begin to speak for itself. There will be a new light in your eyes, a different weight to your words, and a quiet authority in your energy. It won't be loud, but it will be unmistakable. This moment is sacred. After Sunday, don't expect everything to change in a sudden flash. Expect it to unfold with grace. Let your spirit remain sensitive, your energy soft, and your heart open. Release the need to predict or control what comes next. Trust the unfolding. Let awe guide you, not anxiety. The divine always moves in rhythm, not rush. Here is the quiet revelation. This entire season has been about realignment, a gentle unraveling of striving, proving, and fear, so you could finally hear your soul's voice again. You're not stepping into something magical. You're returning to your natural rhythm, the one you were always meant to live in. Not a performance, not a reinvention, but a return to truth. And in that return, something powerful awakens. Not because you chased it, but because you became ready to receive it. So now, beloved soul, as Sunday draws near, step into it not with urgency, but with reverence. Let your heart be still, let your spirit remain open, You don't need to predict how it will unfold. Just trust that it will. This is not about forcing, fixing, or figuring it all out. It's about surrendering to divine timing. It's about showing up fully present for what heaven has already set in motion. Let this Sunday be more than a date. Let it be a door, a sacred appointment between your soul and your destiny. You don't have to chase it. You simply have to notice it. And when the moment comes, because it will, may you recognize it, respond to it, and rise with it. Thank you for walking this path with us, for being open, present, and willing to receive. If this message stirred something in you, let your spirit stay connected. Have you ever felt it? That silent stirring in your soul, the sense that your life was meant for something more, something vast and eternal? Perhaps you've walked through seasons of obscurity, hardship, and isolation, wondering if anyone sees. But heaven has been watching. Every tear, every prayer whispered in the secret place, every moment you refused to give up, these were not in vain. Something monumental is about to unfold. Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence that you are listening these words right now. Because this isn't just a message, it's a divine summons, a spiritual intelligence report from the throne room of heaven, and it concerns you, chosen one. There is a sound in the spirit, a frequency only those with attuned hearts can perceive. It is the sound of alignment, convergence, and commissioning. The heavens are stirring, the earth is groaning, the harvest is ripe. And you have been set apart for such a time as this. For years, it may have felt like your life was buried beneath layers of silence and obscurity, like a seed hidden in the soil, forgotten by the world and overlooked by destiny. But what seemed like a delay was, in fact, divine design. That season of hiddenness was never punishment. It was preparation. In the stillness, your roots went deep. In the darkness, your true identity was quietly, powerfully forged. And now, the time of your emerging has come. God isn't raising up a single leader or church to carry this moment. He is activating a decentralized movement, a rising of ordinary believers who carry within them extraordinary power. And yes, you are one of them. You are not here by chance. Every scar you carry, every strength you've developed, every tear you've shed and triumph you've lived through, these are tools in the hands of a sovereign God. Your pain has not been wasted. It has been repurposed. Your story has been divinely shaped into a key, uniquely crafted to unlock the hearts of those only you can reach. This call is not about performance, perfection, or popularity. It's about presence. God's presence in you, flowing through you, reaching into a generation starving for authenticity, craving something sacred, something alive. You've been prepared for this, and the time is now. Why now? Because we are standing in a Kairos moment, a sacred, divinely appointed window where heaven is moving with unprecedented intensity on the earth. The world is groaning under the weight of chaos, fear, and disillusionment. Darkness has thickened, confusion is widespread, and many have lost their sense of direction. But in the midst of this shaking, something profound is happening. Hearts are awakening. There is a hunger rising, an aching for truth, for meaning, for beauty, and ultimately, for God. You've witnessed it. People who once resisted anything spiritual are suddenly curious. The veil is lifting. The walls are coming down. Souls are becoming tender, open to the whisper of eternity. And in this very hour, God is activating those He has quietly prepared, people like you, to rise and respond. This is not a season for passive faith or distracted living. This is not the time to delay your obedience or shrink back into comfort. A wave is building, one of revival, healing, and harvest. The only question is, will you be ready to ride it? God is aligning your personal history, your seasons of preparation, with His greater plan. What He has cultivated in you privately is now colliding with what He is doing globally. If you miss this moment, you're not simply missing inspiration. You're missing a divine assignment in what could be one of the most significant spiritual awakenings of our time. For far too long, fear has been a silent thief, stealing voices, delaying callings, and shrinking hearts. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. It has kept many hidden, convinced they are unqualified for the very things God has prepared them to do. But that season is ending. A new boldness is being released, holy, pure, and spirit-breathed. It's not rooted in self-confidence, but in deep surrender, and it's rising now like a quiet fire in the hearts of those who are willing. This boldness will not shout to be seen. It will carry a weight of presence. You will speak, and atmospheres will shift. You will pray, and strongholds will break. Not because you're loud or perfect, but because the living God is dwelling within you. His authority flows through yielded vessels, and He is calling you to step forward with courage, not someday, but now. But to carry this boldness, you must first lay everything down. Let go of the need for approval. Release your grip on comfort and control. Say yes to intimacy over image, obedience over opportunity, faith over fear. Boldness is born not in striving, but in surrender. If you can say from your heart, "Use me, Lord," for the thousands, heaven takes that yes and sets it in motion. That surrendered whisper becomes a gateway through which lives will be changed. It's not about who you are. It's about who He is in you. And now is the time to let Him be seen. Get ready, for God is not only calling you into action, He is also preparing to shock you with a sudden supernatural blessing. This is not motivational fluff. This is about divine intervention that realigns, accelerates, and confirms your calling. He's about to answer prayers you've stopped praying. He's targeting desires so deep you barely dared to speak them. And the blessing won't be because you deserved it, but because He delights in you. The shock will not just come in the form of provision. It may come through divine encounters, supernatural favor, healing of long-standing wounds, or unprecedented opportunities to minister. God is not just solving your problems, He is redefining your path. But be warned, the shock may disrupt. It may break old mindsets, shake loose limiting structures, and uproot you from what's familiar. But every disruption is divine. Every detour is by design. There are moments when God moves in ways that completely disrupt our expectations. Swift, unexpected, and breathtaking. This is one of those moments. A divine acceleration is coming, and it won't arrive quietly. It will come like a sudden downpour after a long drought, a shock of blessing that rewrites the narrative in an instant. This blessing won't be the result of effort or striving, but of alignment. You've been in a season of sowing, waiting, and wondering if the breakthrough would ever come. But what felt delayed was never denied. It was being timed perfectly. Now heaven is preparing to break through the ordinary with something extraordinary, something unmistakably God. It may look like open doors you didn't knock on, opportunities that feel too big for you, answers to prayers you barely dared to pray. And it won't just bless you. It will reposition you, realign you, accelerate you into assignments you thought were years away. But to embrace this blessing, you must be willing to let go of your blueprint. It may not look how you imagined. It may stretch your comfort, challenge your timing, and even disrupt your current plans. Yet it will be exactly right. God is about to move swiftly. Your yes, your surrender, your readiness, that's what unlocks it. So stand still in awe, but be ready to move. Because what's coming isn't just provision, it's divine positioning. It's a holy shock designed to lift you into the very purpose you were born to fulfill. As the harvest grows and God's movement gains momentum, one truth becomes clear. This is not a mission you can fulfill alone. What lies ahead is far too vast, too intricate, and too holy to be carried by a single person or isolated ministry. This is a collective call, one that demands unity, humility, and supernatural strategy. God is assembling a body, not building a brand. He is weaving together voices, giftings, and callings across the globe to function as one living, breathing extension of his heart. Each person has a role. Each voice carries weight. And when those voices unite, not in competition, but in collaboration, a divine synergy is released that multiplies impact far beyond what any individual could accomplish alone. This unity is not just about agreement. It's about alignment with heaven's agenda. It's choosing connection over comparison, celebration over competition, purpose over pride. In this new move, the most powerful strategies will not be human inventions, but divine downloads, wisdom from above given to those who are listening, yielded and aligned. And you too are part of that strategy. You've been placed not just to shine, but to link arms. The Spirit will guide you to the right people, the right partnerships, the right timing. Don't isolate, don't strive. Instead, be ready to build together. For where there is unity, God commands a blessing. This is how the harvest will be sustained, not by a few doing much, but by many moving as one, empowered by the wisdom and strategy of heaven. This harvest isn't about numbers, it's about souls. It's not merely about hands raised in a moment, but hearts truly transformed over a lifetime. God isn't calling you to gather decisions. He's inviting you to disciple lives. Revival that lasts is rooted in relationship, in teaching, in walking with people through their journey of faith. You may be called to lead a small group, create Spirit-led content, develop systems for growth, teach the Word, or simply walk alongside new believers as a mentor and guide. Whatever your assignment, treat it as sacred. Own it with humility and reverence, knowing that God doesn't call without also equipping. His grace is sufficient for every task He places in your hands. Yet, with every increase, whether an influence, opportunity, or responsibility, comes a deeper need for wisdom. The move of God must be stewarded, not controlled. It requires a continual connection to His voice, not just in the moment of calling, but in the ongoing steps that follow. Stay close, stay dependent, stay teachable. For in this season of harvest, it's not just what you do that matters, it's how you carry it that will shape eternity. Everything has been leading to this moment, a divine invitation, extended not to the perfect, but to the willing. Heaven is calling, the Spirit is stirring, and God is asking one simple yet life-altering question. Will you say yes? This isn't just a general call, it's deeply personal. It's not about a task to complete, but a life to surrender. It's about stepping into your true purpose with open hands and a yielded heart. Your yes isn't just a word, it's a doorway. It's the opening through which heaven will pour out its plans, power, and presence in ways that will astonish you and transform others. God isn't looking for the most qualified, He's looking for the most available. He equips those who respond. He empowers those who trust. And if you dare to say yes, He will take your small obedience and multiply it beyond anything you could imagine. The time for hesitation has passed. The moment is now. Your preparation meets purpose here. Your story collides with destiny, and your surrender becomes the spark that ignites revival in the lives of others. So what will your answer be? If your heart whispers, "Yes, Lord, I'm ready, use me," know that heaven hears, and that single act of surrender may become the catalyst for countless souls to find their way home. Say yes, and step into the divine story that has always had your name written into it. What you've sensed stirring in your spirit is not a passing moment. It's the first breath of something eternal. This is just the beginning. The call to rise, the boldness to go, the assignment to reach the thousands. These are only the opening notes of a much greater symphony God is composing through your life. There will be more instructions, more strategies, more whispers from heaven guiding your every step. Stay ready. What's ahead will require fresh revelation, deeper intimacy, and unwavering obedience, but the reward will be beyond anything you've imagined. You were born for this hour, and as you walk forward, know that you're not alone. Together, we're stepping into the harvest. Thank you for joining me on this sacred journey. If this message stirred something in your heart, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here, you'll find ongoing encouragement, divine insight, and spiritual strategies to help you walk boldly into your calling. Let's grow together, let's awaken together, and let's partner with heaven, one surrendered yes at a time. Until next time, stay present, stay expectant, and stay faithful. The best is just beginning. Chosen one. You didn't stumble upon this message. You were summoned, not by algorithms or random chance, but by a frequency that only those attuned to the divine can hear. This message isn't for the masses. It's not for those content with fitting into the machinery of the world. It's for you. Have you noticed it? That quiet ache that stirs when you try to walk the so-called normal path? That inner resistance every time you consider settling for less than your soul was carved to carry. The voice you've been ignoring, the one that whispers of a calling far beyond paychecks, titles, or survival, that's God rerouting you. You were never designed to labor under systems that suffocate your light. You were sent here to disrupt, to awaken. Your very presence is a reminder. Earth is not our final form. You are here to ignite. You've spent much of your life trying to follow a path that was never truly yours. You did what was expected, tried to be responsible, to stay within the lines, to pursue what others called success. But each time you moved deeper into that world, something inside you quietly shut down. While others seem to thrive in routine, you've struggled to breathe beneath the weight of expectations. And when the disconnect became too loud to ignore, you blamed yourself. You questioned your discipline, your focus, your ambition. You wondered, what's wrong with me? But chosen one, what if nothing is wrong? What if the very restlessness you've been trying to fix is actually sacred? You were never designed to blindly follow a world that rewards imitation over authenticity. Your discomfort is not a flaw. It's a sign that your soul is waking up. This is not rebellion. It's revelation. You are not lazy. You are being recalibrated by something greater, by divine design. And yes, it feels like everything is unraveling. But this unraveling is holy. Because in the tension between who the world told you to be and who you were created to become, a new truth is being born. This is the sacred disruption. Let it break what was never meant to stay. Let it awaken what was always meant to rise. You were taught that your value is tied to your productivity, that exhaustion is honorable, and that self-sacrifice is the price of success. But chosen one, that system was never built for souls like yours. It was designed to keep you striving but never arriving, measuring your worth by how much you can do, rather than who you truly are. And while you've tried to follow that model, deep down, something in you has always resisted, quietly, consistently, whispering, "There's another way." That whisper is truth. It comes from a deeper wisdom within you, and it's calling you now, because a new way of living is beginning to rise. There is an invisible economy unfolding, one not based on wages and hours, but on alignment and purpose. In this divine system, you don't earn your worth by hustling. You open the flow of provision by obeying the call of your soul. While the world chases results and recognition, you are being called to embody resonance, to stand in remembrance of who you are, of what you carry, and why you came. You don't need to force your way forward. When you live in spiritual rhythm, opportunities find you. Favor locates you. Resources gather around your yes. And that's why some doors are closing, not to punish you, but to protect you. What feels like delay is often divine redirection, preparing you for something greater. So stop asking how to survive. Start asking how to serve, not from fear, but from the fullness of who you are. Because in this invisible economy, wealth is not what you take, it's what you give, from the deepest place of alignment. Before you can step fully into your divine assignment, something must first fall away. Not your dreams, but the illusions wrapped around them. The path ahead is not paved by acquiring more knowledge, but by releasing the false truths you were never meant to carry. From childhood, you were conditioned to believe that your worth depends on performance, that stability is superior to vision, that safety is found in predictability. But none of that came from spirit. It came from systems designed to domesticate your light. Now, chosen one, the voice of heaven is calling you to unlearn. Unlearn the grind that disconnected you from grace. Unlearn the fear that disguised itself as logic. Unlearn the urgency that drowned out your intuition. This process will feel like confusion at first, because everything familiar begins to crumble. But let it. What looks like loss is actually liberation. You are not losing your path. You are shedding the programming that blurred it. As you release what the world taught you, clarity begins to rise from within. You stop asking, "Will this make money?" and start asking, "Is this in alignment?" You begin to trust your peace more than other people's plans. You move not because it makes sense to others, but because it feels anchored in spirit. Chosen one, your rising doesn't begin with action. It begins with unlearning. Let truth replace tradition. Let presence override performance. And watch as what once confused you becomes crystal clear. You've spent so much of your life searching for purpose, for clarity, for direction. You've looked outward, hoping to find your calling hidden in titles, achievements, or someone else's approval. But chosen one, the truth has always lived within you. Your gift is not something extra. It is not a side note to your identity. It is the core of your assignment. That ability you've always carried, to speak with depth, to heal through presence, to create beauty, to sense what others cannot name. It was never random. The world has tried to convince you that what comes naturally cannot be sacred, that ease means insignificance. But heaven operates by different laws. In the kingdom, grace is evidence of calling. You've been taught to downplay what's effortless, to dismiss the things that light you up. But your joy is not selfish. It is spiritual. It is a signpost pointing you back to what you're meant to give. And here's the deeper truth. If you do not honor the gift, it becomes a burden. If you ignore it, it will press on your spirit. If you bury it, it will ache to rise. Chosen one, your gift is not optional. It is your mission. It doesn't need a platform to be real or a title to be valid. It only needs your yes. When you begin to offer what you carry, freely, faithfully, fearlessly, doors open, provision flows, lives shift. You're here to release what heaven planted in you. In a world obsessed with movement, with constant striving and doing, it's easy to believe that stillness equals failure. But chosen one, the spiritual path doesn't follow the rhythm of urgency. It flows to the rhythm of obedience. Obedience is not blind submission. It is moving not with panic, but with presence. When you are led by spirit, timing becomes more important than speed. And sometimes, the holiest thing you can do is wait. You may look around and feel like you're falling behind. Others are launching, building, promoting. And here you are, sitting in silence. But don't confuse quiet with stagnation. In the realm of the divine, stillness is preparation. It's in the pause that clarity is born. Obedience is often subtle. It looks like writing something no one may read yet. Saying yes to a project that pays nothing but feels right. Resting when fear tells you to hustle. Turning down good things because they are not God things. This rhythm won't always make sense. To others you may seem passive, unmotivated, even lost. But what they see as hesitation, heaven sees as precision. Because obedience doesn't chase. It aligns. It discerns. It trusts. And when you walk in obedience, you activate a different kind of momentum. One that doesn't burn you out but builds you up. Doors open that no amount of effort could unlock. Opportunities find you instead of you chasing them. Chosen one, step into this rhythm. Release the pressure to perform. Let obedience become your strategy. In the stillness, you are not waiting on life. Life is waiting on your surrender. There's a reason the rooms you entered never felt quite right, why the conversations felt shallow, why no matter how hard you tried to adjust, something in you refused to settle. Chosen one, you were never meant to fit in, because you were sent to shift the atmosphere, not to blend into it. The discomfort you felt your entire life wasn't rejection, it was redirection. It was heaven whispering, "You are not here to conform. You are here to disrupt what no longer serves the soul." You've been told that belonging means acceptance, but for the awakened, belonging often begins with exile. The narrow path was never crowded. Your uniqueness was never a flaw. It was the blueprint. You weren't created to mirror the world's systems. You were designed to reveal what lies beyond them. That's why you couldn't stay in roles that muted your truth. That's why you felt drained by expectations that asked you to dim your light. The truth is, your frequency disturbs what's false, and the world often resists what it doesn't understand. But don't shrink. Don't try to disappear just to make others comfortable. You were chosen to be visible, not for vanity, but for vision. To show others what alignment looks like in a world lost in performance. When you finally accept that you were made to stand apart, you stop chasing inclusion and start embodying purpose. And from that place, your light not only grows, it awakens. So no, you were never meant to fit in. You were born to stand out, so others could remember how to rise. So now, beloved soul, the invitation is clear. You've spent long enough searching outside yourself for permission, for validation, for a path already carved. But your path isn't found, it's forged. And the map is written in the language of your own becoming. Heaven is no longer whispering, it is summoning. Chosen one, if these words have stirred something in you, a flicker of recognition, a trembling in your chest, a tear you didn't expect, then this message has found the right heart. Thank you for listening with your spirit open, and thank you for being part of this rising, not as a spectator, but as a vessel. If this truth resonated, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here, we don't just post content, we ignite awakenings. We speak to what the world overlooks. We rise together. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a word whispered from spirit. And if your soul is ready, leave a comment below. Let us know what awakened in you today. This is not the end. This is your beginning. Welcome home, chosen one. The world needs the light you've been hiding.